Winterland, tell me all your secrets. Fill me in on your wildest moments. Colored trees, your yellow leaves move me. Dancing roofs, your painted red shakes the room. When I get there, I'll let my feet roll. When I get there, I'll break in your arms, I'll lose control. When I get there, I'll know the answer. Let me know when I get closer. Winterland, you're my sailing ship. Guide me in when you head for your trip. Right out of this wicked black and into bright sand. Straight towards the warm sun and into his hands.
Hey everybody, happy Monday. This is Overpass Live. My name is Eric and I make apps. This is the live stream, which we used to do all the time, but kind of do it every so often now. Usually on a Monday. It's been, last one we did was I think January 9th. So it's been a few weeks and, it's, every single time I do it, I'm not sure if anybody's going to show up, and we don't really have any much to talk about, except, ad mob stats. We answer a few questions. We talk about apps. We talk about, whatever we feel like talking about. So this, so since the last live stream, oh man, so much has happened since the last live stream. A lot of it personal stuff, but a few things, like business wise, things have been going, kind of slow. January is just genuinely a slow month in terms of revenue, in terms of ad revenue coming in from the apps and things like that. We get that big bump at Christmas time when we get the new advertisers come in and all the ad mob stats go up, but then afterwards it kind of like drops off a bit. Like, so, January is just kind of like a blah month where our apps just kind of like just languish. They languish in the in the ad revenue, but it's been okay. So what I did this time, and what I want to show you guys later on, because I never show you guys my ad mob stats because I'm not allowed to show the RPMs, but I thought today maybe I could show you guys some of the, I basically created a report in AdMob and I removed the RPM so we could go over that if anybody's interested. Like a lot of the times I get asked each week or each week, every time I do the live stream, what the ad revenue has been like recently, and it's been okay, but it hasn't been great. So so we could talk a little bit about that. Also for me, I've been doing dry January with so that's it was one of those things where I know a lot of you guys aren't drinkers, but I do drink from time to time. For those of you who know me may say from time to time, but yeah, I will have a drink now and then. So so like dry January was something that that I wanted to do, and I was able to make it all the way through. So yeah, that's been kind of fun. So although I still been going to the pub and still been drinking lots of tonic waters and stuff like that, but it's been just to get out. It's difficult when you're a developer and you work from home. Sometimes you just need to get out of the house, like you get out of the apartment. I love working from home. Don't get me wrong, I love working from home, but then there's times you're like, I just need to get around people. And I go to the gym every day, but then it's like I don't talk to people in the gym. It's weird to talk to people in the gym. It's like, hey bro. I could if I talk to people at the gym, I'd call them bro. I know I'd do that. I know I could. I have that within me. Anyway, let's see who's here. Let's see, Crypto Wolf. Hey, how's it going? Crypto Wolf is here. Chris Bala, happy end of January. Yeah, already end of January. It's like all those New Year's resolutions, which I've been keeping them up. Well, okay, some of them I've fallen off. Some of them I've been keeping up, but let's see. Crypto Wolf says, is it worth to start with ads in a new app you want to release? It feels like it's not worth it, or if I could add ads when it gets more traction. See, my thing with ads is it has two. There's two reasons to have ads in there. First of all, is the revenue. But you're right. If you don't have like lots of impressions, you're not going to get all that much revenue. So it's hardly worth it. And you're adding this. You're adding something that like none of us want to put ads in our apps. Well, I actually, not so true. Some people I know that just put out their, their clones and stuff like that. That they're, the crap that you see on Google Play sometimes. They're just trying to get as much ads out there as possible. Like the apps aren't even that good. But if you're really working on your app and you have the best user experience, you don't want to go slapping an ad on it. That's one of the things that clients tell me all the time is, I really don't want to use ads. So it makes sense that you want to do it. But the other thing to do is, like, if you're trying to get people to steer them towards in-app purchases, one of the big benefits of the in-app purchase would be like, okay, you don't need to have advertising in order to make that revenue. So, you could say, that could be one of the benefits of having ads in there is it steers people more towards the in-app purchases. So, and when I say in-app purchases, I've tried to do in-app purchases which is just remove ads. Nobody ever pays for remove ads for me. It was always something else, but the removing the ads is part of it. So, and I think that's one of the benefits. So just having the ads in there, you could do that. Because if you do get some traction and then you introduce ads, they're not going to be happy with that. So I think from the beginning, if you just put them in there, I think that would to me, that's what I would do. But let's see. Charles is here. Charles Mpanduki. I hope I got that right. Hi, Eric. It's really been a while since we catch the live stream. Dude, it's been a while since I've done the live stream. It's been like 3 weeks. I keep thinking about doing it every week again, but then I'm thinking, well, I don't know. When I was doing it every week, it was, I wasn't sure if you guys are getting bored of it. So I thought, I would trail off a little bit and then for some reason, I think okay, let me ask you guys this, because I'd love to do it every week. It's nice because it's just fun just to talk. When I talked a few minutes ago about just being like a developer sitting at home and having nobody to talk to and just go out, like, it's fun doing the live stream. I feel amazing after doing the live stream, but Monday nights is just kind of a weird one because there's always something that comes up on Monday nights. I've thought about maybe moving it to Tuesday or like some other night of the week, but we used to do it Fridays. And it was, and I started realizing everybody was doing theirs on Fridays. Like, I was doing mine, and Chris T.P. Young from App Masters, he started doing his at the exact same time. And I was like, well, then, it's, I could either, like, I'm sticking my ground on this time slot, or I could just be like, screw it, I don't care. Let's move it to Monday. So that's what I did. So if you guys could think of a better day, let's do it like, let's do another day. But yes, it's been a while. Oh, anyway, so both surprised and excited to see the notification pop up just now. I appreciate that. Dude, when I do the live stream, I'm not sure if anybody's going to show up. I'm like, is it just going to be like me just, that's my big fear. Ever since I started doing live streams, God, was it 4 or 5 years ago? Like, it was, thinking if I do it and nobody shows up, or you guys ask a question I don't know the answer to, and that, dude, that happens all the time. Let's see, Joe, howdy, Eric. Hey, Joe, how's it going? And Liam, hey, how are you? And he says, hey, chat, to the rest of you guys, which I think is you guys, even though you guys might not want to be considered chat, but that's where you are. Let's see. Crypto Wolf says, I've implemented a monthly and annual subscription and not one-time purchase, and because of that, I'm not sure about the remove ads part. Yeah, it's just because just because nobody's bought it yet. That's an indicator that, if nobody's made a purchase but you're getting no downloads, then obviously you need to get downloads. But if you're getting the downloads and you're getting people actually using the application and nobody's making the purchase, then you need to make that more enticing to them. So it's just like any other product. You have to think, okay, I'm getting that. You got the sales pitch in front of them. You got the, hey, upgrade and you get this, this, and this. But if they're not buying, then you have to think about what's wrong with the offer, or do they even know about it? Like, I used to have my in-app purchases were in the side menu, like in the app drawer, and I figured people would go to extra features and then they would find it, and it was like hardly anybody ever found it, and so basically I started putting it on the homepage. And this is one of those things where, as a developer, I hate to make a button available and have people click on it and then say you have to upgrade. I'd rather just remove the button altogether. But from a sales point of view, you kind of want to have that. You want them to know at all, you want to keep reminding them that you're using the free version of the application, and for just a small amount of money, you could have everything. So, but it's like everything. You're going through, just because they're not doing it yet doesn't mean it's not working. It just means that you haven't found the way to do it. Like having ads in there, even though it hasn't have traction yet, it's like you still do it. It's like kind of like you go through the process. Don't get discouraged. Let's see. And he said, yeah, it's a bit ago. Catch both randomly after work time. Yes. It's like using a whiteboard with colleagues. Where am I looking? Let's see. Joe says, have you ever played around with ChatGPT? Yes, I have. That is so much fun. In fact, I've done so last year, the Overpass website, we do, I had a woman, Ren, she's been doing a lot of the content writing, but then we found one of the AI content writers, Brainworks, so she started using that, and that was cool. And then I felt like I could just go in there and have ChatGPT write the content. And it's kind of thing where it's not, it's readable, but it's not, it's fairly readable, but it's not the kind of thing that people do. A lot of the content that's out there, you're either doing it for one of two reasons. You're doing it because you actually have readers for it. And I've seen the analytics. We don't have a whole lot of readers on the Overpass site. If there's anything, there's a newsletter, like the newsletter I will write, that's not automatically generated. That's actually me writing things and sending it out on the newsletter. But for the blog and for the search rankings and stuff like that, I'm using the ChatGPT. And the fun thing is, if you could say compare Android and iPhone, and then you could say compare Android and iPhone in the voice of Samuel L. Jackson, and then it's really cool because you can that's the most fun. Or you can say write a poem about Android versus iPhone or whatever, or write a song to the lyrics of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star to Android versus iPhone. We could do that on this live stream if you guys want to. It's so much fun. Let's see. Steve Young. Yep, that's right. Steve. So Crypto Wolf says, no, I have subscriptions and not one-time purchase items. Oh, I see. Okay, got it. Okay. It's still internal release track. Okay, all right. What is your app, Crypto Wolf? Yeah, what is it? Legal stuff in Germany. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention it here. You are allowed to mention it here. If anybody, look, I don't mind, talk about your app. Do it. If you want me to have a look at it, we can have a look at it. There's no, go ahead. We could all have a look at it, and but if we look at it and give you a little bit of feedback, that's if you don't want that, then don't do it. Let's see. So gotcha. Charles says, Joe, I wanted to ask about ChatGPT too, but I was worried everyone is already fed up with this trendy thing. No, it's one of those things. I think it's just really. It's really awesome. For those guys, I assume all you guys have played around with it, right? I'm going to try to bring it up here. Let's see if I can get it to work on a live demo because let's see. Let's see. Who else we got? Chord Funk is Chord Funk. Yo, Chord Funk. Hello. How are things going? Anything new? Not much. So I've taken an application. So I have this application I wrote last year in Xamarin Forms, and mainly because of my skills in Xamarin Forms were I've been doing other stuff, client stuff. So I just did everything in Xamarin Forms, and so I've been using. Usually when I do an application, I'll use either Flutter or Xamarin for the front end, and Angular or Blazor for the back end. So if it's a Xamarin thing, I was trying to use Firebase as a back end and Blazor as a front end, and it got to be the point where it was just everything just got complicated. So now I'm trying to rewrite this everything, which is the wrong thing to do. I'm taking it back and rewriting the whole thing in Flutter so that I could try to just have what I want to do is have one code base. So I want to have Flutter Web. So for the admin site, I want to have I want it to have web-based, but with the admin site and everything like that, which is working pretty well at the moment. But I'm just, a lot of the stuff I'm doing at the moment is like rehashing what I did before and kind of thinking, okay, I know how I did this in Xamarin. How would I do this in Flutter? So that's like what has been occupying all my time recently. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much the only thing that's new. So let's have a look over here at the ChatGPT, just so for those of you guys, because let's see. How do I share my screen? Here we go. Yeah, so those guys who haven't used it, so you're going to say, oops, let's do this. What are the differences? Android and iPhone. So you can do that. It basically goes away, uses machine learning and all that stuff to say operating system Android uses blah, 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 blah. And then what we could do here is just say, so yeah, and sometimes, and this is one of the problems with it, like you could use it for content generation, but a lot of times it's wrong. One of the things I had with Ren when she was writing content for the Overpass blog is the title would be, 5 ways Android and iPhone are different, and then it would be like 6 points or whatever. So, and I could say, tell that to me in the voice of Samuel L. Jackson. So this is where it gets fun, where you start to do all that stuff. Yeah. Oh, it did this last week. Here is the information of the tone similar sound. Listen up, son. Android and iPhone, they got their differences. One uses Android OS. I like it when it starts dropping the F-bombs. So that's where it's fun. Or you can say like, write me a poem about it or whatever. And that's where it gets kind of fun. So this is like when we talk about one of the things every single YouTuber seems to be talking about is, oh, this is bad for developers. Like say, write a function to access the Twitter API in say C#. Right. So basically, you could do that. And basically it could go through and generate code for you using, whatever. Like here it's just using the main console application, whether or not it works. So this is one of the things a lot of the YouTubers are talking about as, is this bad for us? And a lot of it, I think, is. This is where we, I talk about how it's bad for content writers, because if you're writing content that's actually supposed to be readable, then yeah, you need some skills for that. But if you're doing stuff that's just supposed to be SEO searchable, then this kind of stuff is really, here we go. So this is the kind of stuff. So when we look at, and this is one of the things I've talked about for a long time. When I'd have clients and we do offshore work, they talk about, ooh, what if someone steals my code? What if, and a lot of the stuff that we do is like building blocks. Like the code that we write is not all that special a lot of the times, but it's the way we put it together, like Lego blocks, right? It's like, so yes, I could write, I could connect to Twitter, but that's like, it's not like if somebody got access that code, I mean, you probably found it on Stack Overflow anyway. But taking that and putting it with something else, bringing everything together is how we do stuff, and actually building a product. Like, a lot of times we talk about code, it's like learning the chords of music and or learning the notes of music, but the song is what we're actually producing. So, but anyway, it's really cool. So you guys haven't played around with it yet. One other thing I wanted to check. Actually, we'll go through this again. Let me just go. What else should we talk about? Let's see. Okay, so the Crypto Wolves app will be launched in about a month. Cool. Have I checked out Altlogic? No, Altlogic. No, I haven't. I looked at it, but I haven't done much with it. I mean, I haven't actually dug into it yet. Let's see. Flutter loves Xamarin. I think the big benefit to the reason I was rewriting it into Flutter was because I want Xamarin doesn't do web, And I know you got .NET MAUI, which you could do with Blazor, but even that seems to be like, there's so many libraries which are like, basically what I wanted to do was connect to the Firebase API. So I use Firebase for authentication and everything. So I'm using the .NET libraries to connect to Firebase for authentication and Firestore access and, you know, calling functions and everything like that. And there's code out there that does it, but not nearly as much. Like Flutter just seems to be like, Flutter and Firebase are like hand in glove. Like you have no trouble finding code examples, or, you know, if you have a bug or something like that, it's just much easier to find because everyone else has the same kind of thing. Let's see. Charles says, unfortunately, I haven't been able to play with the ChatGPT because my country Zimbabwe is on the whatever list. So sad. Yeah, I know for a long time. Like it's spread so quickly that I think it's the kind of thing where when you look at it, it's spread so fast that everybody knows about it. I think that's the weird thing. It's not like, it's not just the techies that know about it. It's like just everybody's talking about it. So let's see. Kevin says, good afternoon from Lake Liverpool. Hey, Kevin, how's it going? Let's see. Crypto Vault says, if you want to have a look at my landing page, maybe you have some thoughts. It's basically first real product I'm building. Yeah, Crypto, I'll have a look. But unfortunately, if you put the URL in the chat, it doesn't come through. It gets blocked for some reason. So you might have to like tell me what it is or what to search for on Google or something like that. Or just tell me, try to put it in a way that we could actually, have a look at it. But Cord says, I think that machine actually managed to write the code. For now, a human generally have a place where someone. I think that even if the machine actually managed to write the code, for now, a human generally have to place where someplace meaningful. Most people suck at that. I know. I've worked with. Thanks everybody for the thumbs up, by the way. Yes, I think that too. But I also know developers who. This is one of those things where I used to work in a factory. I used to work when I was a teenager. I worked at McDonald's for like 3 years. I worked at McDonald's at the Navy base in San Diego, and then I moved to Massachusetts when I was my senior year of high school, and I worked at the McDonald's there, and I worked at another one back in San Diego. And one of the things about McDonald's is like they tell you exactly what to do, but the pay is terrible. Same with the factory, right? The only reason they hire you is because they can't automate what you do. But they can tell you exactly what to do. The nice thing about working in a factory is you're not in the shower thinking about how could I pack those boxes faster. Well, when you're with code, you're constantly doing that. So one of the big things as knowledge workers is being highly paid is what we do is we have to solve problems. We have to think about how things actually work and new ways of doing them. Now I've worked with developers, like junior developers and overseas companies where I have to tell them exactly what to do, and they'll wait for a decision from me before they do anything. And it gets to the point where I'm like, okay, if I could automate what you do, I'll do it. The same with some of the people I've hired in the Philippines that would do like social media. The last person I had, Ren, she was really, really good because she knew the nuances and be able to respond to people in the right way and everything like that. And it was perfect. But I had others where it was like I wrote like okay, if you do this, then do this. If this, then do this. If then do this. And as I'm giving these instructions, I'm thinking, I think I could code this. Like, so when you have ChatGPT, it's like it's raising the bar of that. So you can automate so much, and it raises the bar to something entirely new. So, but I think it's those people who see their jobs as just even though they're developers, they still have that factory mentality. Like, how am I supposed to know what to do if you don't tell me what to do? It's like, you need to figure it out. You need to think. You need to think about you need to think about not what do I do today, but like what's the goal I move towards in the future. And I think this kind of technology, while it's something that doesn't really scare me yet, I think it's the kind of thing where it should scare a lot of people who are just going through the motions, like content writers that are just focused solely on SEO and not on actually producing, readable content. I mean, we got so many blogs and so many people putting content out there that there's isn't enough people to actually read it all. And I think about this one time I was working at an investment bank, one of my first jobs. I had to write the documentation for this website, and so I sat down to do it, and I was like, I kept spending forever on it, and then the manager came over to me and says, Eric, don't worry, no one's going to read it. We just need to have it. It's like, so I'm writing a document that no one will ever read, and then you're like, then I kind of, okay, I get this. Like, I was like, chapter 1, login screen, whatever. Not chapter 1, but 1.1 login screen. The login screen is used to log into the application. To use a login screen, put your username, which is usually your email, into the login box, and put your password into the password box. Do not worry if you cannot see the password. It was just like blah, 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 blah. We were going for bulk. We were going for, we wrote 90 pages of documentation like that no one will ever read. And that's what this would be perfect for. So let's see. So even where developers were reduced to that, I think we would be wanted and needed. But obviously, machine learning is going to be a huge part of the future of coding. I think so too. Even my non-developer friends are using ChatGPT, like ask what to cook and only have specific things in your fridge. Yeah, I mean, what to cook if you like. Oh, that's a really good. Oh, yeah, there's so many things like that. And it says Crypto Wolf, and Cordfunk says programmers are detail managers, and there will probably be stuff to manage for a while at least. Yeah, I think so too. But it's that. I say Crypto Wolf. It's my name. Okay, so Crypto Wolf. We're gonna have a look at this. CryptoWolf.app. Thank you. That was a perfect way of putting it in there. Let's see. I can't get to it. Is it www? Oh, I misspelled it. My doy. Hang on. So I'm typing in CRYP. Oh, I'm still misspelling it. All right, we're going to have a look here. I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, the alpha of portfolio management. Unleash the beast. Portfolio management and market analytics app on all platforms. Notify me. Cool. Monitor your portfolio. We have a great. Well, it looks cool. I like the graphs. Show your portfolio. Cool. Our premium per month. Do you have a yearly plan? Let's see. Powered by popular brands. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that one's. Oh, Logic. I'm not sure if that's like interesting to you, but maybe not to your users. What operators available on? What payment you accept? What refund policy? Cool. I think to me it looks good. I'm just wondering this. The alpha of portfolio management apps. Is there the alpha of portfolio management? Unleash the beast. I'm trying to think, is that right? Is that right? The alpha of portfolio management. The alpha of software development. The alpha of software developers. But yeah, I think that looks cool. I mean, what do the rest of you guys think? Let's see. Go back to the main scene. So basically, that's basically Microsoft documentation. Oh yeah, the stuff. Yeah, you go for bulk. you do, like, Tyree Robinson. Hey, Tyree says, how do you stay motivated when programming a web app that may take 2+ months? I just imagine the long soul-sucking hours of sitting down and typing and hoping whatever works out. Dude, I'm struggling with that right now. I think it's this thing where you have to set those goals of, like, you have to think about, you make that list of different things. So, like, right now I'm working on the game screen of this application. So, for me it is, what if I should just show you guys? So right now, I've got the login part, I've got this thing, but so to me, it's just having that, being able to sit down and work through each page as it goes. So, it's going to be like a series of quick wins. If you look at the whole thing as a whole, like today is like, okay, by the end of today, I need to get the quiz screen done because it's going to be a little bit more complicated than the other screen. So I got the category screen, I got the other screen, and so I need to do all that kind of stuff. So that's something I've been working on now. So a lot of times I'll use mock objects just because it makes the design quicker. So, nice thing about Flutter is you get the hot reload, and with web you can just do the refresh all the time, or I guess depending on what web framework you're using, got hot reload too, and just being able to sit there and work through it. One of the nice things about apps, when I think about doing webs, I'm thinking like, okay, yeah, it all looks good in Chrome, but would it look good in Edge and all this stuff? And for the most part, I think they do. I think that these frameworks are really good about being cross-browser like that. But so for me, it's that, setting that task list. I use Todoist. There's so many different, a lot of people use Notion, a lot of people use other, task lists or whatever, and just make, break everything down into these little things. So you can say, okay, that's done, that's done, that's done. And I think crossing it off the list is probably the most rewarding thing, because you can think, okay, I need to do the login screen, whatever, and just to set yourself, it's the same as going, have you ever gone on a long drive? Have you ever gone on a long drive, like across country? Well, in the States we go cross country, but, and you're like, okay, I'm not going to stop until like the clock gets to like 3 p.m. or whatever. Like you're driving and you just want to stop, but you're like, okay, so listen, these little tasks, like, okay, or whatever. I'm gonna, as soon as I get this page done, then I'm gonna go and watch TV. I'm gonna reward myself with something like that. But I mean, there's lots of stuff like that you do like that. So. Let's see. Cordfolk says, once we can feed the documentation to an AI and have it ask the questions for customers, that's going to be cool. It would be, unless you're the guy who writes that documentation, then it would be useful. Let's see. Answer questions for customers. Yeah, I mean, that would be. I mean, that's because you're saying that as a developer, yeah, like answering customer questions is not so much fun, but when you're but this, like, again, it's like somebody else's job. Actually, okay, right, let's start. First line support, that's their job. A lot of the times first line support is like, okay, they ask a few questions and it's like, they come to you and you're like, so you got to like explain it to them, they explain it to them, and there's like kind of a thing. Yeah, you're right, it could do it. That would be useful. Let's see. Crypto Wolf said, yeah, that's one of my thoughts as well. With the UI, maybe a bad thing. Yeah, I think it's the there's something fake about it. Like if you got AI to write music, for example, there's something that would be like, you think, are we so predictable that AI could figure out what we would like? I was watching this Tony Robbins seminar thing that's been on this week. I watched a few days. I watched the first day of it, and they have like it's filmed like on Zoom, and it's like, but there's this like the audience clapping and everything like that. But there's not the audience on Zoom. It's just like some like canned laughter, like canned laughter on sitcoms, right? And I remember when Major League Baseball, during the pandemic, when Major League Baseball came back and they were playing baseball games in the stadiums again, they would like pipe in the sound of the cheers of the crowd because it was weird to watch a silent baseball game. But then there's a part of you thinking, that's really, really fake that they're anticipating what people are going to cheer for. And that's kind of the thing with the AI stuff. It's kind of like, are we so predictable that they could figure out what we're going to do and what we're going to like and what we would say and what we would write and all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of scary that it looks like a lot of stuff that's actually out there. So back to Crypto Wolf. Very nice design, mate. I do. I think it look. I like that dark with the graphs and everything. I think it looks really good. I like the colors. Yeah, nice design. The alpha was a meme because the wolf, and it's like you talk about animals. Oh, that's all. No, I do like that. I do like the the beast thing. I was trying to think in terms of like if it was made grammatical sense, but no, I definitely would go that way. I mean, you might be neglecting the female market, but then we're talking about cryptocurrency. So like this, I think you're going the right way. But English is not my native language. Wait, what am I? But English is not my native language. I don't know. I know it's on the edge. I think it does make sense. I don't know what the rest of you guys think. Alpha is good. Alpha is also what traders call profit, so it's good fit. Yeah, everybody's looking for that sweet alpha. That sweet alpha. Yes, there's not many of us. Let's see. I don't know. Oh, I didn't know that. That's great. Yeah, it's a good thing. It's using CoinGecko too, a trusted brand in a sector of trust issues. Is that one of the ones where I was saying like CoinGecko? Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So Liam said. So I said, that's only interesting to you. Use CoinGecko and OutLogic, but obviously, like Liam, disagrees. So that's that's cool. And then Crypto Wolf says, yeah, I think so too. People are using something else where a lot of things are outdated. Cool. All right, that's the last comment. But one of the things I thought I would show you guys this week, it's like lots of times people will ask me about my AdMob revenue, and I don't show it because I can't show my AdMob. I would either show my the daily revenue report, which hasn't been updated for a few months. But I did this report over here. Let me see. Just so you guys can see where I'm doing. For those guys who, this is like a special thing for you, those of you guys who stayed this late into the live stream, I guess. And thanks for the thumbs up. I just saw one go up. Let's see. Set my screening here again. So like this is my last 30 days of ad impressions. So like I'm not showing my my AdMob, my RPM. So it should be fine. But you can see like each day is about 14 pounds, 15 pounds. So this has been like the last 30 days, and it from about the 31st. If I show you, and just to give you guys an idea of like, I have not updated my apps in a long time. I've not done the recent. So but if I go all time here, I was looking at this earlier today. You can see like back the good old days when everything went really, really well. So I had these like each day, like the most I made an AdMob on a single day was, I guess, in 2016. I made what is it? I think it was 300 pounds. So it was like, this is kind of the way I go. And then this is where right here is where my ear spy got suspended the first, one more time. And then right here, my Google Play account got suspended, I think. And then it came back. And so a lot of this is from my major apps. See, my match rate has dropped here in the last few years. My clicks have gone down. But a lot of times when, I think the last question of the last live stream, somebody asked me, am I a multimillionaire? And the answer to that is no. But, I still do get a decent revenue coming through. Well, decent. I get like, 10, 15 pounds in. It's one of these things I need to get back in and update these applications. For the big one was removed back in 2019, but the other ones are still they still do bring in the revenue. So that's kind of one of those things where if you guys were interested in that. So let's see. Liam says, sorry, man, I'm just probably the target market. You're more his target market than I am. That's true. I use CoinGecko. That makes total sense. Perfect. I'm glad you're here, Liam. Let's see, because I did a little bit of crypto. Like I started like at the beginning of last year, started buying Bitcoin, and like it had already dropped a lot. And then like right before the FTX thing, I had sold all my Bitcoin. I was putting like 10 pounds a day in, and I think it was like 1,000 pounds at the end. It wasn't like a huge, after like 3 months. So it wasn't a huge amount, but it was, like it didn't, I don't think it grew a lot. But it was, it was enough for me to go when I went to Croatia. And I'm going to Croatia again in June. But let's see. But yeah, I don't know very much about crypto. I mean, aside from that, I tried a little bit here and there, but let's see. Let's see. Corfux says, same. Most of my money is in Bitcoin. The CoinGecko mention is good. All right, you guys are good. Yes, this is one of those. So I mean, are you guys still in crypto? I mean, after the FTX stuff. I mean, I'm asking this like I'm asking for a friend, but like it's one of those things where I think it's like I was kind of like on the fence, like. And I know it's really low at the moment, which might be a good reason to start putting money into it again. Bitcoin is the way. The thought of adding a Bitcoin only mode, but probably not many people would want this. Maybe. Let's see. Blue Diamond jazz hands. This is where I start to show my age. But having a mode for stacking sats would probably be good. I think there's a market for that as well. God, I gotta talk about stuff I don't know about. Let's see. Liam says, I need to visit Croatia. It's really nice. It was awesome. I'm going to the same place. It was this, so right now, like last year, I decided when I turned 50, I want to go someplace every single month. And then it was like for January, February, I thought, I'm gonna hold off, and then I'm taking a class in March, between end of February to May, and then I'm going to Croatia in June, and I also need to make some more trips because it was fun doing a video from there, and Croatia Split was just beautiful. I mean, just sitting there floating in the Adriatic Sea, it was all blue. It was just I'm going to do the same thing I did last time, just get that same co-working space and just sit there and work in the day. So I can still work the 9 to 5 and then afterwards go to the beach and everything like that. It's going to be beautiful. And then not have to miss any revenue from working too. Let's see. Cornfuck says, you should listen to the Bitcoin Standard on Audible, Eric. Is that like a good introduction? I mean, because it's like I think it's one of those things. I think because I saw so many like, if you watch CoffeeZilla when he talks about all the crypto the scams and everything like that, I think that's one of the things that put me off it. But I think Bitcoin is probably better, right? Crypto Wolf says FTX does not affect real Bitcoiners because not your keys not your crypto, and crypto is not equal to Bitcoin. Yeah, so I mean, is Bitcoin the best one to go for now? And also, like, so I was using Coinbase, and is Coinbase like a good market to go through? I mean, this is like, I know this is my live stream, but you guys, come on, tell me stuff. And Cordfunk says, if you know what fiat is and what Bitcoin is, it's a no-brainer. Yeah, I do know the fiat currency, and of course we see this all the time with the pound versus the dollar, and one of those falling, and it is scary how things are going. Now is the time to buy, Liam says, when there's blood in the streets, as Warren Buffett says. I do believe that. I think that's one of the reasons why I bought at the beginning of last year. And, let's see. Buy at the bottom, sell at the top, says Liam. That makes total sense. All right, well. So here we go. I've learned more than you guys have. Anyway, thanks everybody. Thanks for the thumbs up for everybody. I appreciate you guys showing up. It's like I said, I'm not doing the live streams regularly anymore, so I'm not sure if anybody's gonna show up. But let's do it next Monday. Let's see. For those of you guys who are watching it on the replay and say you always miss it, let's do it next Monday at 5:00. But what I would like to do is find a better day to do it. So for those guys, if you just let me know, what would be a better day to do it. I know that we have a lot of the subscribers are based in, I think, India or to the east of England. Some of them to the west. So I kind of thought 5 p.m. is kind of good because, it's in between. But we could do like a Friday, middle afternoon or later afternoon or something like that. So just let me see. Oh wait, there's more comments. This book is great. Half of the book is not even about Bitcoin, but about what money is. Okay, yeah, you have to look at it. Is it on? Do you say it's on Audible? Oh, okay. Let's see. Yes, read the Bitcoin Standard. You got to. Oh, geez. You guys have all read it. Have you guys been doing live streams without me talking about this? Okay. If you buy Bitcoin on an exchange and let it there, you don't really own it. Coinbase does and just are mapping to your account. I mean, yeah. So this is the kind of thing where you have to get like a thumbnail drive or thumb drive. Also, you should read the Fiat Standard by the same author. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Shaheen Naji says, do you have any advice about combining work, an app you're working on, and your social life? I don't know, the social life thing, because my social life does not, I do not, I might go to the pub, I go to the gym, I go to the coffee shop. Nowhere do I talk about Flutter. Nowhere do I talk about Firebase versus whatever, the mean stack. There's no place. It's just kind of here, and it's kind of weird when you're working on an application that you're because you're not working unless you're doing it as part of your job. A lot of times you're hanging out with people who don't quite understand why you're like, so wait, what were you up to yesterday? I was, I was just, I was writing a new login function or whatever. I was trying to integrate social media login into my app and stuff like that. It's kind of like a weird thing where depending on the technical level of the person you're talking to, whether or not you could actually, convey that. So, it's kind of, that's a, but a lot of times when you are an app developer, people are interested because everyone knows what apps are. Well, actually, that's not true. Depending on your age, probably everyone knows what apps are. Crypto Wolf says, this is a crypto channel now. That's what, we should do it. All right, so we'll make a crypto channel. I'll be like the guy who knows the least about crypto. So instead of saying, my name is Eric, I'll make apps. I've thought about this many times. I thought, there's a lot of times I don't talk about apps, but I still say, my name is Eric and I make apps. It rolls off the tongue. I don't know how to say anything else. Every so often I think, okay, 2023, I'm going to stop saying I make apps. I'm going to say something else, but it's got to rhyme because otherwise I'll just get, hi, my name's Eric and something crypto. Let's see. Liam says these live streams are great. I love how they're like informal chats between us. It's good to talk to other devs. That's exactly, that's perfect. And the amount of times over the years people said you need to do tutorials, you need to do stuff. I think it's just fun to chat because we can talk when you get excited about technology or crypto or whatever like that, it's fun to talk to other people who are excited about the same things and not necessarily, dude, I'm not the expert on anything, but it's great to be able to have these chats where we all get together and just talk. And when it comes to crypto, dude, you guys know so much more than I do. The last half of this live stream has been, you guys just telling me stuff. I'm like, really? Let's see. So Cord says, if you create a Bitcoin wallet, I'll send you some satoshis, fractions of a Bitcoin. I have the Coinbase, but is it better to do it with some other thing? I think. Let's see. Liam says, this is the only place I could talk about this stuff too. Yeah. I think it's. I used to work at. I used to work in a lot of investment banks as a contractor, but there was one contract which was a very short one, which I worked at BBC. And it's strange because it was not a technology company, but when the guys, and it didn't pay as well, but when we went to lunch, people were talking about the new, what was new coming out in technology. And it was nice to have people, even though like just being around people like that made you excited about it, and it made you want to be better at it, and it made you like, because if I talk to it, if I talk about like, it's like when you talk about something and somebody says, yeah, whatever, I don't get it, whatever, nerd, whatever, and then you're like, dude, shut up, like, it's like, come on, we're really good at what we do. We're really good at what we do when we can talk about it and talk about, like, for me, I could do videos where I go, okay, here's why you should use Flutter, or like blah, 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 blah. But that would be disingenuous if I don't use it. I think a lot of the stuff I see on YouTube is like people, it's all academic. Like you're saying, here's a tool you could use, which is be really, you should use Apple because it checks all this other stuff. But what's interesting to me is like, have you ever used Apple and has it worked for you? Because most of the time, it's just people producing content, and they're just basically, oh, I could make a video about this because whatever. And like I'm happy, I'm fine to say that I'm not a big fan of React Native, even though a lot of you guys are. I'm fine to say that I hate PHP with a passion. Not with a passion, actually no. I'm not a big fan of PHP. SharePoint, on the other hand, I do hate with a passion. Let's see. Let's see. I meant time management wise. Oh, so balancing combining work, an app you're working on, and your social life. I think the social life is going to have to, it might have to take the back seat, but it depends. For me, it was like I was working a contract, and so I was working 9 to 5, but I have to it was on site, so I had to leave at 7 o'clock in the morning. So I started waking up at 4 o'clock. I'd wake up at 4 o'clock, and I tell you what, when you wake up at 4 o'clock, I don't care what anybody says, that first half hour, it's crap. It's like you make yourself a cup of coffee, you're just mad at the world, you have a coffee, you just kind of loosen up a little bit, and then you kind of get into it, right? That first half hour, terrible, right? You just, and then then you have a few hours to work on stuff, and you could really, and then because you have such a condensed space time to work in, I had between 4 and 6, and it was like I have to get this done. My to-do list was like this, and I would get mad, and I was like, and it was like, I gotta go, yeah, and that was tough. However, it did not interfere with my family life, because it was like if I swapped it around and said I'm not a morning person and I stayed up late at night and worked on stuff, it was like, are you coming to bed? Are you coming? Dad, can you help? It was like I was taking time away from other people, like the time that they needed they needed me, or they wanted me, or whatever. And when you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, nobody wants you. No, unless you have friends on another, on the other hemisphere, nobody wants anything to do with you. You could rob banks at 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't even think the police would arrest you. They'd be like, dude, we'll catch him at 8. Right, so that's but it's hard. Getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning is hard. I this morning I got up at 6. Right, I don't do it anymore because I don't have any place to go for the most part. But that was kind of the way that I did that. It was like and I was constantly, I was tired a lot, but the momentum kept me going. Right, that's kind of one of those things where the other day, was it Saturday night? I slept 10 hours, and I was tired all day Sunday. But so, a lot of times getting those biorhythms right and everything like that. So, let's see. Cordfunk says, now after you've read the Bitcoin Standard, I'll read the Bitcoin Standard, then you'll know. Okay, so next time, all right, my homework assignment. Jeez, I gotta. Let's see. Crypto Wolf says, Coinbase is like your bank account. You don't really own it. It's because they are friendly and allow you to access your numbers. A wallet is a private and public address. Who owns the private key owns the crypto. Okay, that's a basic explanation. I think this is I think the Coinbase thing was me. It was like the training wheels thing, I'll have to have a look at that. I Spy Tech says, Eric, what's your take on junior developers embracing Android development and the fact that AI is sweeping the tech space together with mass layoffs in the scene right now? I think it's, there's so many, Android has such a low barrier to entry. And I'm not saying because it's easier, because it's not. But it's because so many people have Windows machines, and and so it's the Mac, which is you know is not a. I don't think the Mac is a better machine than Windows than a PC. So this is not a Mac versus PC thing, but I think there's so many people who are like they're getting into that market. And you look at like when we looked before, we did videos about this in the past where we looked at the market share which was pretty much even Android iPhone in the US, in the UK, a lot of the Western countries. But if you go to Asia or India, it's like Android has like 80%, 90%. So it's like there's so many people going into that market, and iPhone's more expensive to develop in, all that kind of stuff. So I think there's like a lot of people who are getting pushed out that way. In terms of the AI, we talked about that a little bit. I think it's if you're just somebody who can write code, it's like saying it's like writing. I said this before, and damn it, I'll say it again. Writing code is like being able to type. It's not the fact that you could type. It's the fact that you could tell a story, that you could put content together. So like knowing how to code is like, you can code so you can realize yourself or somebody else's vision, right? And if they have to tell you exactly what to do, AI is going to do that at some point. So like I could say that, like we just did this with ChatGPT, where I said, write me a function a C# function that connects to Twitter, right? And it had no trouble doing it. But if I could say, write me a social media application for bakers, whatever, that allows bakers to rate each other, whatever, AI is not going to be able to do that. There's so much nuances in that. It might be able to put something together and it will be wrong, and somebody with code experience, they have to go there and fix it. But I think that's my opinion on that. So, and Crypto Wolf says you can just download any wallet without any registration and can create an address of assets if you want to send or receive. Okay. I mean, yeah, but where do you get these wallets? I mean, what do you get from like? It's using SHA-256 private public key, just like in APIs. Oh yes, that's my favorite part of using APIs, is generating the public and the private keys. Have you ever tried to set up SSH or SSL on a server, like on a Linux server? It's like, oh my god! Even generating the public and private keys for like an iPhone app is like, it could be a bit difficult. But yeah, I see what you're meaning. Or like even like when you try to put the Firebase push notifications or the Android push notification, you have to generate the SHA HA whatever. Oh, I don't know what it is, but like but yes, I think that's what it is. I cringe when I think about anything that has to do with the terminal or the command line. But yeah, I guess it's one of those things. I've been able to do that kind of stuff in the past. I should be able to figure this out. If the emulator works 1,000 times better on Mac OS. Really, does it? I have such trouble with the Android emulator. Most of the development I do is in the iOS simulator, and then I use the Android emulator to check it afterwards. Because for me, I've not had that much success with it. Even in my Windows machine is more powerful. Even when Windows machine is more powerful. Oh, is it? Okay. Just the App Store, their official side, like Blue Wallet. Okay. Oh, is that so? Okay. All right. So my homework assignment this week is, oh God, I'm like, I have to do this. I have to do this, and we're gonna do the live stream next. Okay, if we don't do a live stream next week, it's because I have not read this book yet. SHA-256 favorite print. Yeah. Yes. There's a Gradle task for that. Yeah, but a lot of I use the a lot of stuff I'm doing is Xamarin, which you're using Visual Studio, and you don't have access to the Gradle. I guess you do in like Flutter, but which is not that's one of those shortcomings. In principle, I avoid emulators. Users don't use emulators. Yeah, I use emulators for the fast refactoring, but I've got so many phones. I got a new iPhone this last week. I've got the Androids. I've got on my desk right now, on my kitchen table, I've got 2 phones. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 phones here in front of me. No, 8 phones in front of me. And a lot of times I'll do the testing on those, but yeah, you're right. And Crypto Wolf says, but there are also hardware wallets where your private key never leaves the device and contract goes to the hardware wallet, like a USB stick. Gets signed. That's for bigger holdings. See, this is the one where I remember seeing on the show Silicon Valley, where the guy lost his crypto key or whatever, and it was like worth billions, and he was searching through a dump. That's when I think about it, and the Coinbase was like, I guess, the training wheels. I guess the Coinbase was like what. Yeah, it's like the thing I guess you get your grandparents to use. Let's see. iSpy says, no, entry-level Android jobs, everybody looks for senior dev. Well, I mean, yeah, everybody, if you have the choice, I think the only, so iSpy Tech, do you consider yourself to be a junior dev or a senior dev? Because, the whole time in my career, I've never referred to myself as a senior dev or a junior dev. Like, I will talk about junior devs and senior devs, like, because, but I've always just been a developer, right? Other people decide what I want. If it's for a job role, a lot of times I'll have that junior developer, senior developer thing going. But, like, to me, I'm a developer, right? I'm a developer with X years of experience. I don't even know what the cutoff is for senior developers. I just know that I'm the one who gets things done. So I don't look for junior developer jobs or senior developer jobs. By the way, the great thing about Flutter is you could run your app as a Windows or Mac app and resize the window, how you tested different resolutions, just finally on the emulator. Yeah, for me, the Flutter thing that really has gotten to me is the web thing, which you don't have on like on Xamarin. And it used to be like and it just seemed to be the integration with Firebase just to get easier and easier with those command line tools, where before you had to like go and download the info.plist from the Firebase console and put it in the whatever directory, and then you had to go do something else and something else, and now it's just like you run that command line tool and it just freaking works. I mean, it works pretty well. Let's see, I've had a hardware wallet and a seed phrase in my head. Plus a backup and a bank box. Dude, you guys are just totally okay, Cord now you're just making stuff up. See, not the whole key though. I had a watermelon and a pineapple and a plunger key. I said enough for my brother to recreate a wallet if I die. Okay, all right. I will look into this, and then I need to get first on it. You guys are like, you're scaring me with how little I know here. iSpy Tech, thanks for the insight. That's just my opinion. So it just there was a new release of Flutter, I think. There was like not Flutter Flow. Is it Flutter Flow? There was like a conference or something at the beginning part of this week. It was dull AF. I mean, I watched a few of them. I was like, oh wow. It's like, they were like, it was like, I don't know. What was it? I forgot what it was called, but I watched a few of the tutorials that came out, and I was just like, dude, this is like, it was just there was, I don't even know what the big announcements were. I watched like a summary video saying our big announcements from Flutter Direct or Flutter Flow or whatever it was. No, Flutter Flow is that WYSIWYG tool, isn't it? But whatever it was. And I watched the summary of it, and I came away still not really knowing what was new. Let's see. I think some improved text fields seem to remember. Okay, well. Joe says, Eric, for your Android apps or iOS, if you run into problems with the new version of Google Mobile Ads, do you ever just disregard the GMA update and continue with the ads, the old version that work for you? Yeah, I do. Like a lot of that revenue that I showed earlier is like I've not updated the iOS application since I'm thinking 2018. And I know there's been changes. We have the GDPR, all this stuff. Because it's just, every time I look at it, I start running it, and it's like you have to upgrade the Swift version. I've got all this classic libraries and stuff like that. So, You know, it's so yeah. I still have the old stuff out there, and it still seems to be bringing in revenue. Cornflake, same here. I split it and put the two in different banks and boxes. I gotta catch up on this stuff. You guys have convinced me. Let's see. Liam's got to go. All right, Liam. See you later. Thanks for stopping by. Let's see. Cornflake says, I want data classes to Dart. That's all I want. So data classes, we're talking about like model classes that are. Cancel. Wait. I nearly banned somebody there. Why is this? Click. There we go. I want data classes in Dart. That's all I want. So you're talking about. So like I know when you generate the. I would like to have text boxes where I just bind to an object like it would in Xamarin. So just have that two-way binding. And I don't think they have that. I hate having to set up text edit controllers all the time or to have the on-change event of a text box. That's one of the things that unless there is a way to bind it, I just am not using it the right way. But that's something that I think I would like to see. I don't want to override equals and hash codes. Okay. So crypto was Firebase's libraries are making me afraid of every update. It breaks all the time. That's true. I do have an application that I had to do like a simple update for like a label change, and it was like Flutter. I think it was Flutter 2, and everything had just changed. Like I just couldn't get it to compile. I had to like downgrade Flutter just so I could get the stupid thing to compile. Otherwise, I have to go through and change all kinds of code. But yeah, you're kind of right about that. Joe says, cool, I think I'm running into a bunch of problems with 21.4, so I think I'm going to go stick with 20.6 now, which is perfect for me. Yeah, I mean, if you, worst case scenario is that you release it after the fact. Like, they always give you those deadlines. I'm like, you know, I've never done anything that asks for, you know, please ask app not to track or anything like that, but I'm still getting those downloads, still getting the revenue from that. I have on other, like on the ones where I do, but that one, you know, the Ear Spy on iOS, it hasn't been updated in ages. It's annoying. You have to have use a value equality without all the fuzz. It's a single improvement. It's a single improvement that would have had the biggest impact for me. Okay. Let's see. If you want to have value equality in Flutter, check out Equitable Package. I use that, but it feels like it should be necessary. A lot of the stuff I use, like it feels like it shouldn't be necessary. Like there's certain widgets that don't seem like they should be necessary, like the padding widget. And this is going like this. You guys are obviously talking about like the more advanced stuff, but the padding widget is part of the main framework. But it just seems kind of weird that you're wrapping something in a padding widget rather than just having a margin attribute of the object that you actually want to pad, you know, or having a padding to the actual one, which was kind of the way I would expect it to be. So I get to the point where I got things nested a little bit more than I want to. Like I'll have a center with a container, with a column, with a stack, with a, you know, well, not with a stack. I have a center with a card, with a container, with a column, with padding, with a text box, and it's like and after a while it's like it's getting a little bit too weird. But I don't know if you guys disagree with me or agree with me or not. Maybe you think that's the beauty of it, but for me it's like, dude, just like it's, you know, it's just, you know, it gets annoying after a while. See, but if I create a little library, sometimes I don't want to include Equitable as a dependency. Okay, yeah, that's true. But it seems like the record. You guys just carry on with yourself. Can I leave? You guys want to carry on this conversation? See, I never use a padding widget in business layouts. I generally build widgets that does layout. Okay. The children are generally just listing out the children are just listing out the actual things, not the layout. Okay. I mean, yeah. What I do is what I've been doing. I don't know if this is the best way to do it. This is it. Like, if I do C# development, I spent so much time working with other developers in that kind of environment. So you learn things from other people, how other people work. I've done the same thing with JavaScript. Not so much with Corona or Lua or anything like that. But when it comes to Flutter, all of that, well, no, I've done a little bit with other developers, but like I don't have like, I think a lot of the stuff I do is on my own. So I'm learning from, as I go, and certain things I'm like, okay, reading other people's code to say, oh, he does it that way. Or that's a nice thing about looking at the open source libraries and stuff like that, is being able to see that. So anyway, so it has been an hour and 10 minutes. I think we're going to finish the live stream here. Thanks everybody once again for liking and just for showing up. This has been fun. I will read the Bitcoin Advantage, whatever the crypto. I'll read the book called. Was it? I've already forgot. Bitcoin. I will read the Bitcoin Standard, or at least I'll get it started this week. I've got several Audible credits available, and I was listening to it in the gym. So, and then we get, let's try to do this again next Monday. Thanks everybody for showing up. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great week. Stay healthy, stay safe, and I will talk to you again next time.